Travis Wayne Goodsell. I've already recorded this video, and it ended up being 3 segments because of the terrorist attack. And we'll post it for you tomorrow as you're hearing it now. While brushing my teeth, so I didn't finish my water, I was reminded of my mission, of a story that I've told several times over the 10.2K videos. We'll put this at the beginning of the video, and I've already written it down with the title of the video and the thumbnail picture for the video. In Connecticut, in the New York mission. I'm old. It wasn't split yet. I have to explain that to people. My mom was in the same New York mission, but in Canada. Before Monson took over as mission president. And in Canada, or not Canada, oh God, Connecticut, I was with Elder Oldley. And Elder Oldley, one day, decided to go and visit one of the members in the richer neighborhoods, because New Canaan is the second wealthiest at the time in the nation. There's a story about how the rich who were paying more in tithing wanted to pay for the church building and then only wanted their exclusive club to attend that church. State president said no. Crap. Still not leaving me alone in this short segment. I'm hoping. It's already almost 11. And so we go to visit one of the members, and he's not in our area. We were in the poorer area. So we go to his house, and we talk with him. He takes us into the backyard, shows us around to awe and impress us how rich he is. And he gets a phone call as we exit the house. So Oli and I went and checked his backyard, tennis courts, a large open field. And he's getting loud on the phone with a guy from work. And they're involved in stocks, or at least their company is on the stock market. And he's yelling to the guy that this is not Armageddon. Don't sell the stocks. In case you remember Bush, Poppy Bush, this is the time period where we're talking about, where he declares war on the Middle East. 1,000 points of light, mission accomplished. That's the sun, actually. Get it mixed up. And so, yeah, he gets off the phone, calming the guy down, and then comes to us and says, if you want to be rich, study your Book of Mormon. I call BS. I know my Book of Mormon better than he did, and better than he did back then. I was not rich. My parents were. No. And of course, he doesn't want to explain himself. He just wants to keep it a secret so that we would study the Book of Mormon and then find out that, oh, it's not prosperity like his wealth, spiritual wealth. No, thank you. Got to be temporally wealthy before I can be spiritually wealthy. Just thought I'd throw that in there. We're now in Armageddon. And now the rest of the movie. Just a heads up, it's about 5 minutes in when the first attack occurs. And then it's an hour and 23 minutes. And then the end of the movie. Video. Warning you to save your lives. Travis Wayne Goodsall. So, Mr. Toad's wild ride today. My enemy never learns. They think that they are in a superior position, hiding behind a computer and committing cyber terrorist attacks with impunity. No consequences, as they suppose. They better be ordered directly from church headquarters. Because if you're not, wow. After the second of the extra videos today, they backed off for the most part, going back to the typical AI program stuff. I know when you have your shifts. I know that YouTube did not adjust their clocks for the or the daylight savings time, because your shift was exposed during the hour ahead. I catch on to this stuff, not just because I was a licensed security guard, was thinking about becoming a private investigator because of the TV shows that I watched and enjoyed. But because Mrs. Fiskin in 5th grade gave an A+ student an F, so consequences follow. I am an open book to my enemy. I leak myself for my enemy. I expose my vulnerabilities to my enemy. I put the target on my chest for my enemy. Shoot me! And they miss every single time because of their pride and arrogance of the position that they think they're in over me, behind a computer committing cyber terroristic crimes. They are lazy as a result. And so I've noticed some patterns. We're doing this recording tonight and posting it tomorrow morning for tomorrow morning's video. They don't have associative memory. Most people don't. I taught myself as a kid. After the F. To illustrate the example, I will again reiterate the video I did not too long ago, where Metallica's Enter Sandman was in the theme song in the description below. In the song are the lyrics, dreams of war, dreams of dragons, fire. Now, if you watch the video, how does Enter Sandman relate as a pattern match to the video, or to Enter Sandman video? Dreams of war, dreams of dragon, fire. So I give you further clues from Metallica. Creeping death, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, Ride the lightning. They're good religious boys. Awesome. Master of puppets. This is why they are mandatory. So yes, we are in World War III right now. The apocalypse of Revelation. And Revelation chapter 12. Oh, the dragon. Crap. That's all they got. They got nothing to defend the church. They can't do it. They don't know Mormonism. And thus, it shows in how they respond to me. I didn't decide on the theme song because the lyrics came to my mind. War and Dragon's Fire. Dreams. It was just Enter Sandman. That's what came to my mind to put in the theme song in the description below. So as I'm listening to it, as I'm uploading the video, I hear that and I go, oh, cool. And so likewise in my videos, there is no script. I took notes for the news. That's it. That's all. I took notes for the opening introduction that I do for you guys. That's it. That's all. There is no script. Whatever comes to my mind comes out of my mouth. And if they were real intelligence agents for the church, they would know from the clues that I give them what to research to know what I'm talking about in my videos. And so this manner of video making is unique. Nobody else in the world does this. You have to pay very close attention to the words that are coming out of my mouth. And it serves a multitudinal purpose because I can't cater my videos to a specific audience, let alone a majority. YouTube's analytics won't allow me correct information to know how to tailor my videos to my audience. And I'm not here to do that anyway. I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to warn of the danger that you're all in. That's what these guys ignore. They don't believe that they are in danger. They don't believe that the church will fall. They don't believe that the church will get locked up for their crimes. They don't believe. And of course, for me, instantly, Laman and Lemuel come to mind. And I don't know how to quote it. I just know for key words. Visionary man judged. Oh, wrong one. Has to be in the same verse or I won't get it. Father judged us. Yeah, here it is. 1 Nephi 17. So let's find the first instance. Looks like verse 19. And now it came to pass that I, Nephi, was exceedingly sorrowful because of the hardness of their hearts. And now when they saw that I began to be sorrowful, they were glad in their hearts, and so much that they did rejoice over me. Schadenfreude, something like that. Uchtdorf, could you help them out with this? See? Saying, we knew that ye could not construct a ship, for we knew that ye were lacking in judgment. Wherefore thou canst not accomplish so great a work. the ship is likened unto the Exodus and building of Zion. This is what I'm trying to do, guys, to save your lives. And the Mormons who attack me, who are anti-Travises, are exactly like Laman and Lemuel. We're not done yet. There's more to this. And thou art like our father, led away by the foolish imaginations of his heart. Yea, he hath led us out of the land of Jerusalem. We have wandered in the wilderness for these many years, and our women have toiled, being big with child. And they have borne children in the wilderness, and suffered all things, save it were death. And it would have been better that they had died before they came out of Jerusalem than to have suffered these afflictions. Sadly, there are Mormons who wish to die in this holy war. Behold, these many years we have suffered in the wilderness, which time we might have enjoyed our possessions and the land of our inheritance, and we might have been happy. You will go home. This kind of an attitude, I will be asking you, why are you here? I gave you the choice, you chose to come. Why are you here if this is how you're going to behave? You didn't have to come. You chose to come. Why then are you here with that kind of an attitude? And I would have sent my brothers back. Todd, by the way, you're not coming. Just so that you know, there's a whole naughty list of many people in this valley who are not coming. And we know that the people who were in the land of Salt Lake City, Travis, were a righteous people. Ta-da! For they kept the statutes and judgments of the Lord, did they? And all his commandments, did you? How many of you are practicing polygamy? How many of you have dipped down to 11 years old for your child bride polygamist harem wife? No? Mormon crickets? Oh, no, swinging doesn't count. That's adultery. Even section 132 condemns adultery. Nope, nope, nope. According to the law of Joseph Smith. Liar! Wherefore we know that they are a righteous people, and our Father hath judged them. Sort of like what you're doing right now. Beaming moding, and hath led us away because we would not hearken unto his words. Oh, didn't I do that video today? What was the theme song in the description below? Just one voice singing in the darkness. Yea, and our brother is like unto him. And after this manner of language did my brethren murmur and complain against us. Fine, go back. Bye. Become as Lot's wife, see if I care. And so then he talks about Moses and the Exodus and being held in bondage to the great and abominable church. That's a coincidence. And the parting of the waters in 2020. Yeah. So these guys, which better be authorized by the church headquarters. But even if still, they suck at their job. Because it's not just a knowledge of the scriptures that they have to have. And I am far superior, as I just demonstrated. Because memorizing of scriptures isn't going to help you. Nope. You will not be able to compete against me. And I've warned you. My brother, he can't compete against me. He became an honors student and valedictorian at both high school and BYU. And still, I'm smarter than he is in his own profession, for which he got an asterisk doctorate. And I didn't even touch the career field. Oh, no, correction. I did take a sociology of religion course. Yep, I do remember that. And so, yeah, my associative memory has done me very well. But I chose, for my career field, to become the only anthropologist of the ancient Middle East. There may be some who claim to be anthropologists, but when you realize that their focus is only on Greek or Assyrian, maybe even Egyptian, they're not. They're an anthropologist of Egypt or Assyria or Greek or whatever focus. Nope. I studied anthropology with the background for this of the whole ancient Middle East. And so therefore I can go to any period of time, any place on earth, any culture, and do a thorough research study on it. Scientific method. And with my associative memory, I know what references to check for, because I don't memorize. So, the church history video, 4 hours long. Where are you? Way down yonder. It's been so long. No Mormon knows day and hour Brigham Young fled USA. LDS church history video by me. Primary source documents of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, not just being a fraud, not just being criminal, but terrorists. And so, the Strengthening Church Members Committee are supposed to be stalking me. The YouTube Mormon employee has a different responsibility to shut down my views. But the Strengthening Church Members Committee are supposed to be the intelligence agency to spy on me and find out all that I am up to in my video content. And they fail too. They're supposed to be the intelligence agents who are supposed to be catching on to all of these clues that I openly give. I don't just say I have associative memory, so good luck figuring me out. I tell you, the theme song in the description below most likely will apply to the video. when I reference pop culture, whether it be movies, TV, games, music, or even politics, or religion, or Mormonism religion, church history, world history, that is my clue for the three separate groups: those who are faithful and trying to study, those who are new, and my enemies who are trying to lie in wait to destroy. Because by studying the Word, they're going to go, oh crap. Or the other extreme, outright denialism of the truth, and thus become sons of perdition, vessels of wrath and hate, to provoke them to criminal behavior, which will get them in trouble. They'd never learn. So, Strengthening Church Members Committee must not drop the ball on my videos. As I keep repeating recently, I notified Monson in advance of his coming death. And then he died. I notified Nelson in advance of his coming fall and death. And he fell, and he's dead. I even notified Holland after his BYU talk with Oaks, where he says, at least I'm not dead yet. Holland, I've got a warning for you. And he's dead. And now, Oaks, I've warned him in advance because of the pattern. For him to ignore this, to treat it lightly, as Layman and Lemuel did, for the Strengthening Church Members Committee to dare not tell him, this is why they are no match for me. They think that they have power over me to shut down my views and to cyber terrorize me. They think that that's all that's needed to get me out of the way, so the church can go on forever. And they're not getting it. They're not listening. They're not paying attention. They're acting stupid. If they were to be actual intelligence agents under Putin, former KGB, Putin would have them thrown out the fourth-story window, blown up in a plane, blown up in a car, poisoned. Because he does not tolerate incompetence. But that's exactly what everybody that the church calls into activation to commit crimes against me for have done. They've failed. Utterly failed. And those who had failed, when specifically asked, got punished. So others who are not specifically called, but who think that they're protecting the church because the church needs their protection. Like Mr. NoFap superhero. He's going to protect the church by enforcing his NoFapism with the sword of vengeance. Are you criticizing the church, Travis? Yes. What are you going to do about it? Bleep you. I keep repeating lately Mrs. Fiskin in 5th grade for that very reason. Mrs. Fiskin was in a power of authority over me to destroy my life. And instead, as a boy, I changed to teach myself associative memory, to think smarter rather than work harder through memorization. If all memorization is going to get me as an F, then bleep this. And so school only became for what I wanted to learn. So yeah, when I went to the University of Lethbridge, even Rick's, even high school, I took what I wanted to take. And then any requirements along with it. And so Lethbridge, for example, I only took the courses I wanted to take. I didn't take a major to conform and comply to the requirements of the major. They didn't have what I wanted. So I took the classes that I wanted and created my own major. That's how greatly intelligent I am. Because of Mrs. Fiskin. And the church does not understand this. See, Avraham Gileadi, who was a part of September 6, had studied Hebrew, studied Judaism, as his Wikipedia bio tells us, and then was directed to the Book of Mormon. And so he sees the Jewishness in the Book of Mormon. Gets baptized in the waters of Shalom. Then moves with his family. Or did he not have family yet? Got him when he came. I can't remember. But has his family here in Utah to be by the headquarters. And so he's involved in the original footnoting of the scriptures to put in Hebrews in the Old Testament. And so where you see an IE or an OR, that's where Bruce R. McConkie said no. But then eventually in September 6, 1993, he had published a book for the latter days about Jesus' second coming, working with the man like Moses, the prophet. And the church could not allow that kind of teaching. Even though Oaks is the prophet, isn't he? Jesus, he's soon to come. We're in Armageddon, the midst of the war, Jesus. And so, fired from BYU and excommunicated to activate him, said Oaks, regarding the Strengthening Church Members Committee. That's how they activated him. Intimidation, extortion, physical threats. Crime. Lucifer's plan of happiness. And so he came crawling back on his hands and knees because he can't get a job anywhere else because of losing his job at BYU, which was the best that he can accomplish. Right, Todd? And all of his papers are just plagiarisms. And he makes you pay for them. Whereas me, here you go. Academia, they're free. They will need to be upgraded, but this is what I got so far. Because it's all Zion Project now. Because 10 years ago, I switched my whole focus and theme to sacrifice my life to warn you, to save you. Because that's what a real shepherd over sheep does, Oaks. This morning's video. Idaho Chick was the inspiration behind this event, because the previous day I talked about Idaho Chick as a sheep whisperer, doing a movie with AI Robert Redford. And so yes, people who email me above and beyond or who comment, I can use yours if applicable for the current situation. And so yes, Stanford, pretty much all of 2025. And occasionally I'll show you the pictures of anonymous Mormon who's been with me before 2015. So he saw the shift. He's sent me some more pictures today. He redid Stanford's. I shared your news clipping with Anonymous Mormon, and he condensed it into a square picture rather than the long version of Hubie Brown, Blacks in the Priesthood from the San Francisco News. 1969, people. 1969. Hilarious. But he also sent me an Omega picture. Why will ye die, O house of Israel? Priestcraft. With the inverted pentagram before the Omega symbol. And then quoting Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. So he knows, he's listening. He catches on. And then Stanford also sent me some pictures of the airport murals showing the sun god at noonday riding his wagon and horse Pegasus with the high priest S. Looks like a female. And then the lion, and the little dipper bear. So yeah, Stanford knows. He's learning. He's catching on. So yeah, people who are actively learning from my videos are able to contribute to more. So, thank you, Idaho Chick, Sheep Whisperer. And so, yeah, obviously, I keep repeating certain pictures at the end. The one where I am the man like Moses. I am the seer, the prophet, the revelator, the translator, Spirit. I am the head of the church, Mormons, not Oaks. And you're not getting it. You're not wanting to accept it. You're not running the test. Praying to get the right feeling is the wrong test from the words of Scripture. The whole point of the Book of Mormon is that people read the words. And you're not doing it. You assume that your intelligence from getting the right feeling makes you superior, just like those who attack me. And that is your weakness. That is why you are unable to debate me. That is why you run away. This exhibits poor impulse control when you rush to attack. You have short attention spans, so you don't pay attention. These long videos, dear God. You have an inability for long-term memory because you don't have associative memory like I do. And if you don't memorize, you have to have a long-term memory. And so as each day passes, we as humans forget a certain amount of information, so that 10 years down the way, memories are pretty much gone until something triggers the one memory. Then we can recall some of it. But my associative memory even surprises myself. And so these attackers only know what they hear from the recent video that they watch of mine where I tip them off. And then they act in defiance to attack. Retaliate. Saying, oh yeah, we'll do that to you. Ha ha ha. Gotcha. No, you didn't. I'm not here for me. I'm here for you, you dumbass. Trying to save your sorry life that doesn't deserve to live. Trying all ways to save you who is attacking me. And you refuse to listen, you refuse to believe, because your spiritual witness feeling says that mentally retarded Oaks is the one true prophet of Jesus. There's illiteracy side effects of mentally unfit LDS Mormon Church president. I warn, you don't listen. And so, neglecting poor and needy 2025 charity stats released. The Church News video. You are not getting it. You suck as intelligence agents. And if you guys aren't even reporting any of this to the Quorum of the 12 and the First Presidency, you're just keeping it in your thing, even if Oaks told you, I don't want to hear any more of him. Oops. Bye-bye. You need to be reminded, unless you're new, that in 2020, I sued the church. Their counsel, Kirtland McConkie, are required to notify them of every filing I submitted in the court, so that Kirtland and McConkie can do the will of their client, the whole 15. And so they held meetings with Kirtland and McConkie about my case whenever new filings were submitted. That's why Holland had his episode. And why they didn't tell us for 2 weeks later is because they didn't want me to know I put them in the hospital with that Monday filing. After his interview with the rabbi. They waited for him to finish. And then, oops. And so, yeah, that was when I submitted in a federal court filing as part of the Freedom of Information Act, a government document, the inverted pentagrams of Lucifer, carved in stone evidence. And yes, Pharaoh said no, just as they were supposed to, just as I knew they were going to. I am not a lawyer, not educated, not degreed, didn't pass the bar, didn't get licensed, don't work for a firm, am not experienced. Pro se litigant without any thing in the field. And the church took advantage of it, and the judges allowed it to be taken advantage of me. And I was denied. And they think that they won. And they didn't, because I warned my government in advance of the threats of the church. And then it happened. Bill Barr is to blame. And then Oaks got leaked. And I didn't find out about it until 4 years later. Confessing that that's exactly what they were going to do. And that's exactly what I put in my filings. And that's exactly what they did. And so for them to not remember this, oops. See, and it's frustrating for me when I go over the news each night, reading over the titles. Occasionally, if there's something that I want to hear about, I'll put it over into a new tab to listen to it, and then go back, and where I end off, I'll click on that video to put a red line. As you can see from this picture, if I decide to put this in. And so I'm able, with my associative memory, to make all of the news connections from all time and all eternity. I see what Trump is up to, because we've already had a first term. I know what he said in his rallies, in his speeches, and yet the news keeps forgetting. Are you doing that on purpose to deceive your audience, who you're playing for dumb? Or are you really dumb and your people working for you are not looking up these various things. Same thing with the church. Strengthening Church Members Committee. It's not just listening to what I say and then giving a report that doesn't actually cover what I said. See, Fox News also did a video on Bill Maher's Friday episode, just like I did. I got it right. Fox didn't. Bill Maher's had to condemn Fox for this very thing. Fox doesn't care. So Bill Maher's episode for New Rule was about how Trump forgot. So, yep, just like Mormons to me, so too Fox News and Trump to Bill Maher. And so I wasn't plagiarizing his new rule, I was applying it to Mormons. Mormons continue to suffer from a severe case of Travis derangement syndrome. Yep, they embrace psychology when it suits them. So, yeah, you guys got to do much better, but you don't have the spirit. That's why you're so dumb. And the scriptures are right there for the person who doesn't follow me, who doesn't try to study and learn from me. This is the average person who should just read. So the illiteracy side effects and the neglecting the poor and the needy. Yeah, every Mormon should have known that Oakes lied, that he got it wrong, that he can't quote the scriptures correctly. I've been going over this a lot of times. I told you I've got a whole bunch of Oakes lies of quick videos to do for you. And they pushed me. I said, don't do it. Leave me alone. These are only 2. Because, in case you forgot, I told you before Oakes even took over as president, for which day I called it. I'm drooling for Oakes. My associative memory knows that Oakes has gold. See, Nelson, yeah, he was gold, but he's stupid gold. He purposely is illiterate, unable to do anything according to the scriptures. But Oakes is more evil behind his neglect of the word. See, Nelson got manuals changed, but Oakes is going to destroy this church. And that's the whole point. Remember? Probably not. The video about the Illuminati, who infiltrate, rise up in number, rise up in rank, take over leadership, destroy, coup, New World Order, scattering the organization. That's what they're doing to Mormonism. That's what they've done to Joseph Smith. They did it in 2 main waves. First was the Kirtland one. And the second was the Missouri one. If you had read your scriptures and studied, which would require note-taking, you're supposed to do it with topics, but the church has caused you to be a lazy learner and a lax disciple, for which Nelson then condemned you. But as I taught, I recommend having separate papers for persons, places, events, dates, so that you can have it organized. Because that's what I do for my reference material. Because you can't just read over it and think you got it all figured out. In public school systems, yeah, they teach you to memorize from the textbook to regurgitate on tests. You don't know anything. You can win at Jeopardy, but that's about it. You don't know how to apply that knowledge. Right, Todd? So if the church were really good, they weren't maliciously evil and trying to exterminate mankind with Armageddon, getting other people to do it. Right, Trump? They would embrace me a long time ago. Rather than trying to destroy me and murder me. Well, I warned. They chose not to listen. Dreams of war, dreams of dragon fire. So, anti-Mormon ads, huh, John Dallin? I saw him today, and I went, what? Is that the church? Are they now advertising on YouTube? Oh, I thought I might have had something. And I couldn't get the last frame snapshotted. And there is no YouTube video for it. Bastards. And so all I got was the two pictures. Let's use this one to find it. Nope, other way. My recent videos are well liked for as low of views as I'm getting. Okay, here we go. Whoops. Oh, here it is. Okay, they're separated. So the first thing that pops up, well, second thing that pops up, first thing didn't matter. Discussing prophetic fallibility. And so that was going to be the initial introduction that I just gave you. Then when I found out it was John Dallin, oh. Because John Dallin doesn't get it. Ex-foes don't get it. Now, I understand you don't have associative memory and you don't memorize. And you're not really researching the church either. You read somebody's book or website from somebody's book and you spread it around. Primary source documents, guys. You'll do so much better against this church. It'll be amazing. Just pay attention to one of my videos. But John Dallin will never do it. He's got an eternal hatred of me. And it's his own fault. He chose his career at BYU. Just like my brother. It's his fault. He chose to have scandals in his life, for which Nuance Ho is gone. So yes, rather than going, oh, wow, Travis is right, maybe I should study and figure out what's going on here. Nope. He's offended. And he has hardened his heart against me and refuses to listen. He came to me asking for information so that I could be excommunicated. As he's done to others. Natasha Helfer, Jeremy Reynolds, Little Nemo are the first three that popped up into my mind. They get interviewed by John Dallin, and then they're soon after fired and excommunicated. And so no, I don't watch their channels because they're not giving me anything I want to learn. I have to correct them if I'm going to listen to them. And I don't have the time to do that. I've already got a big old pile up that keeps piling up. And for those of you who watched from West Valley, which is only one of you, you might remember that I had binders of these little notes all piled up. That got left behind. I knew I wasn't going to ever get to them. I even tried in West Valley to, pick something out of and do a video on it. That didn't last long. There were other stuff that came up to add to the pile. Because the inspiration that comes to my mind just flows and I can't keep up with it. The videos are the fastest way to do that. It'd be nice to have it in book form because I can edit it, I can organize it, like the book that I'm helping the guy who reached out from my website, thanks to Paul. We're now on scriptures. He wants to know about Mormonism. So I'm using this as my template to fill in the blanks that I failed to fill in the blanks for. And this was just for a picture. Now it's part of the pile. And so yes, his request is helping me. And so Idaho Chick found out about it and she wants it too. So yeah, she's gotten the latest one up to ritual, and so she'll be getting the next one that I do on scripture. That's how I flow. So prophetic fallibility. The prophets want to claim and have over time that they're just humans, and that God is perfect and he works through their imperfections to get God's will done. So the one who's at the head of the church, God made him the last survivor to become the leader. And therefore we better hearken or we'll be activated just like that Travis guy. No. If they were just imperfect humans trying to do the best they could, wouldn't care. No, Oakes's leak made it very clear. This isn't fallibility. This is pure evil. They're causing the biblical prophecies of evil, purposely, maliciously lying, unable to quote the scriptures on purpose. Nelson's not stupid, but he and they are testing your loyalty. Will you still stand by this criminal operation, no matter how much any rational human being would say, oh my God? So yes, Nelson purposely was stupid. He was a heart surgeon. He knows Greek and Chinese. And yet, when it came to the pulpit of conference, he didn't even get Greek correctly. Let alone Paleo-Hebrew. Oh my hell. And he knows about Avraham Gileadi. He was there with Oakes too. They came in together. They know that in the scriptures, where he got it from, not two Hebrew scholars, as they came out with a rebuttal video for me, and they forgot that I worked on the revision of the footnotes. Even after telling them in videos repeatedly. They're just failing to be intelligence agents. Failing to give a full reporting of my content. And it shows. And so yes, for the leak in 2020, it's all about murdering mankind to get their kingdom back. They ain't saving nothing for Jesus because Jesus doesn't exist. They know this. They want to see how many of you are going to be that stupid or knowingly evil to remain loyal to them. That's why Gilbert was chosen. And yeah, I called that too. Right, Oakes? Or did they not tell you afterward? Good times. Good times. So yeah, this is going to be long. I'm probably going to be up late. So yeah, they only flex their muscle for the first 5 minutes of the video. And so personal revelation. Yeah. And we know this is scriptures, John. Come on. You can't have revelation for those over you. It's right there in the scriptures. We all get taught it as Melchizedek priesthood holders, both in section 28 and section 43. Come on, John. Okay, so 28. Verse 2. After talking to Oliver Cowdery. But behold, verily, verily, I say unto thee, Oliver Cowdery, no one shall be appointed to receive commandments and revelations in this church, except the head of the church, Joseph Smith. So remember earlier in this video, probably an hour ago, forget already, where I said, I am the man like Moses. I'm that prophet of Deuteronomy, the Jewish Christ. I've got that key. I demonstrated that key in 2020 and 2021, which Oaks said was a test run. So everybody can know I continually put the picture of me as Charlton Heston and Oaks as Yul Brynner. Because you weren't around then. And so also the picture of me with also the gifts and powers of seer, prophet, revelator, and translator. They don't even claim the mantle title. Judge me by my fruit. And please tell me you know that it is at least in the New Testament and in the Book of Mormon too. Even if you don't know the reference, Christians would. Judge me. Don't be deceived. Judge Oaks. Don't be deceived. Oaks won't tell you to judge him. I'm telling you to judge me. I've already got the fruit. The latter days are over. We're into overtime because Oaks ran a test run in 2020. And Trump failed last year. I know what I'm talking about. For he receiveth them as Moses. And here I am. I know, I can't believe it. Because I didn't force it. I didn't name myself. And I've told you the story repeatedly. And I'll tell you again. They get impregnated under the sign in the heavens at the prophesied temple. And I am conceived that very night before their honeymoon up the coast of California on whatever the route is to go to Berkeley. And so they find out that they're pregnant. And I don't recall them saying if they asked the doctor to find out if it was male or female. I don't know if it matters. But, so, naming. My mom probably wanted to name me Elvis, but my dad came to her instantly and said, choose between these three names. Vincent, Quentin. He knew my mom hated those names, that's why he said them. Sorry, Quentin L. Cook. And Vincent Price. Or Travis. He wanted me to be named Travis. My dad named me. My dad had his name as my name too, just like Joseph Smith in 2 Nephi chapter 3. It's not just for Joseph. And thus, Stanford's photo of the airport, the Wagoneer, sun god. He who is from the crossroads of the Wagoneer sun god at noonday. My full name given by Isaiah, not just Emmanuel. I didn't name myself Brian David Mitchell. See, he knew, but he tried to self-fulfill, just like the enemy is doing, because they don't believe I exist or would ever come to exist. And that's their whole point. To destroy all world religions. Because they don't believe them. And here I am, the one that everybody denies, for a false idol god. I didn't want to be this. Somebody take this cup from me. I'll take it, Travis. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. So, thou shalt be obedient unto the things which I shall give unto him, even as Aaron, to declare faithfully the commandments and the revelations with power and authority unto the church. But not by way of commandment. Thou shalt not command him who is at thy head and at the head of the church. John Dallin should have known this. As a regular elder, we can't tell the elders quorum president what to do. Can't tell the bishop, can't tell the stake president, can't tell the high council, can't tell the area 70, can't tell the 70, can't tell the quorum of the 12, can't tell the first presidency. We all get taught this, and yet they're not authoritative. I am. It's important to run the test. It's important to make sure you're listening to the right voice as sheep. So, personal revelation is just for us. It's not to expand above and beyond. So this is now the perfect transition to Rise Zion. Because I was inspired to check up on what he's up to since I last saw that he knows that Armageddon has now begun. Good for you. He's given up on Adam-on-Diamond now because he knows Armageddon is here. So therefore, Adam-on-Diamond must have already happened. I don't see the video for that, but that's what it was all about. And so the most recent one on his AI picture, and for that, anybody who uses AI is an automatic I ain't watching. Unless your title and hovering over the picture can show that you're real and that you have something important or something that I will listen to. But for the most part, I'm not going to listen to this guy. I listened to him once for one of his videos, and no, I even doubted if he's even real. He's too fringe as a Mormon. And I know he's in big trouble if he gets more popular than he is. So far, the church is avoiding him. But he's focusing on the leadership of the church. But still, other Mormons have been excommunicated, dude. Chad Daybell didn't all of a sudden decide, I'm going to murder people. He was just like you, with his near-death experience, as he so supposed. And yet, because Monson publicly said, no, this is not a sign in the heavens. For the latter days. Bye-bye, Monson. Chad Daybell thought he knew better, and then went his way. So just like Little Nemo, same thing. He thought he knew better than the prophets. And so when he got interviewed by John Dallin, then got excommunicated, big shocker. Yeah, he was in shock. He didn't understand. So he turned it into a video, got popular. Got brought into the Exmo fold as an authority. Primary source documents, guys. Why does nobody know about that? So his most recent, 2 hidden messages from Elder Cook's warning that civilization may not survive, then something strange. ... Alright, fine. So Cook had something, huh? No, he didn't. He did post something, but reminded you of his talk that he gave at BYU last week. So here's his Facebook page that Rise Zion is referring to. In a world where so much information is available, it is increasingly important to be certain that what we accept as truth, is grounded in eternal principles. I could do a whole talk on this. He's not high enough up to do so, but he is in charge of the Strengthening Church Members Committee now that D. Dodd is in the first presidency. Because he's a lawyer. He's not this stupid. I'm not buying it as much as this is stupid. And so yes, this is what Rise Zion does not get. He doesn't know how to read the word and run the test to discern between truth and, oh my God, the Lord's scriptures, especially the Book of Mormon, will be even more important in our day than they were for prior generations. Sort of like 3 generations ago? 3 decades? Anybody watch that video and I put it in again? I have to remind you repeatedly. And made a VIC snap, VLC snap. Wait a minute, no, that's not the one. Go away, go away, go away. Did I not don't think I could get away with playing a video while doing a recording. I don't memorize. Yeah, I put it in. I need to make that picture. I need to write that down so I remember to make that picture. Okay. But I'm struggling to figure out what the picture was. Oh yeah, Benson's. 3 generations. Benson's 3 gens. That's right. So yes, he gave that talk with the video clip that I put in of him, saying that the 3 decades before the second coming of Jesus to the Americas is a parallel pattern for the 3 decades before the second coming. And so, October conference, 1986. So I put in there 96, 2006, 2016. Ta-da! The first year of the reign of King Zedekiah, king of Utah, over the United States of America. Just as I've repeatedly told you, that 1 Nephi chapter 1 gives you the date of 23rd September 2017. It is not literal history, ex-foes. You know this, and yet you don't know what the Book of Mormon is, because you're not studying it. You're going after other people's books, choosing to believe instead. Okay, good. Man, I need to get that. I was even thinking about doing a separate video just for that. Add it to the pile. Alright. So yeah. Benson was giving you coded clues. And I caught it, because I studied. Nobody else did. Everybody else forgot about it. Because they're the enemy. And so, just like in war, you need to know how to decipher coded communication of your enemy. To know their plans, know their playbook, know where they're going to strike next, so that you can win the war. Right, Trump? And so, knowing that the church is the enemy, I know how to do investigative research. And I do the videos to warn you. And you're not listening. You're not believing. And so here, Cook, a day ago, is leading you astray from the seriousness that the church is not doing for you to save your lives. Instead, he's talking about your interpretation of accepting the truth by getting the right feeling. That's the eternal principle. He's lying. Run the test. And so as a result, the Book of Mormon is even more important. Really? Because you believe it's literal history. I am telling you, no. It's giving you calendar dates and clock times. You know, days and hours of the events that the enemy is doing. And that's why 3 Nephi chapter 7 was supposed to be the year, and instead it was a test run. We're supposed to be in Zion. Idaho chick would have never have come to my YouTube channel because she may or may not have chosen to come to Zion. Others who joined after. Stanford, he might have. Frederick, dear God, I worry about Frederick. He got very impatient with me. It's not my fault, it's the enemy's. They're the ones that are failing. And I haven't heard from Frederick. I put out the call to him, and I haven't heard back. I'm deeply worried. He needs Zion. You know, Nelson is dead. His parents have nobody in the first presidency anymore. He told me about how his parents are one-on-one with Nelson. So, yeah, I worry about people who follow me, who share with me their lives. You know, and they don't stick to the regular pattern of communicating with me. I start to worry. And I find out in the news that there's a female with a son who gets in a car accident. In Idaho. Sleeping. Who sleeps? Who's got time to sleep? So, well. So then he talks about his recently shared BYU devotional that we need to slow down enough to listen to the Spirit and allow Him to direct us. This is where the church leads us astray again, to say that we need to be completely isolated from everybody. That's why the temple is the perfect place. It's quiet. You can sit, focus on trying to hear the Spirit's voice, because the world is noisy. You can't hear the Spirit in the noise. Yeah, you can. Once you know the true voice, it doesn't matter your surrounding environment. You can pray always through this process. And they teach you instead that prayer is idol worshiping witchcraft. And then they'll try to throw the excuse at you when you say, well, you know, I can't be on my knees all the time. And then they'll say, well, you got to pray always. Wow. Interesting. I'm doing too long of a video, so they know it's for tomorrow, rather than just a journal vlog like last night. Same shift time. I catch on to these things. So yeah, interesting. He snoozed on the job and allowed an hour and 23-ish minutes. But no, they teach you to pray always from the scripture words, but then teach you not to pray always, that praying always is just in everything that you begin. And so then they tell people who do think that they gotta pray always that, oh, that's extremism. And then they teach you not to pray. When they do that, which is what the devil does, teaches you not to pray. To pray to an idol god, or to pray repetitiously with rote prayers, that's also not prayer. The devil teaches you not to pray. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints teaches you not to pray, even though they say you should pray in everything and use the name Jesus Christ. That's not prayer. They're lying to you. Prayer is connection with the Spirit, inspiration. And that's where I got the advantage with my associative memory. Because the church and my mommy included teachings of the Spirit, the still, small voice, which no longer exists in the teachings of this church. Because psychologists said, oh, you've got schizophrenia or dementia, hearing voices in your head. You came from Nazi Germany. Thanking your American liberators. Bleep you. Evil people that only use fallacy arguments. And so yes, they purposely set traps. That's why we're in the situation where we're in. Psychology, social media is based on them. The dichotomous and non-dichotomous categorization, wherever you see it, it's from psychology, who are from Nazi Germany, who are thanking their American liberators. And Stanley Smith Stevens, the Mormon, was the one who created it, who was born in Ogden and then did his work in Colorado. And so anybody who asks you questions about how you feel, often, sometimes, neutral, not often, never, in various forms. Yeah, Stanley Smith Stevens, Mormon. It's all a fraud. You cannot categorize human behavior because there are too many causations behind one behavior. They will never go to the causation. That's why the church news that I saw about the Cambodian healthcare center, I was going, oh man, they gave them psychologists? Because that's what the local news calls psychologists. Right, Sarah? That girl, she just goes right into the fire. With her pretty pink nails. I still haven't heard you call me yet. How long do I have to wait before I get the hint that you're not going to call me? What's up with you, girl? And so, no, it was actually healthcare, medical. They are providing a heart hospital for people with heart conditions. Medical doctors, medical nurses. So yes, this was actually a good thing had it not been the church who were using that to promote the church to get converts in Cambodia who will have to pay tithing to thus pay the church back for the hospital they just gave them. And so, no, psychologists are not healthcare. They are evil Nazis who are running human experimentations to thank their American liberators and destroy America. And they're well underway. And yeah, look what they did to the leader of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Multi-personality disorder, huh? Yeah, that's why I did the video. Should have left me alone. That was archived in the long pile. Should have just left me alone. You couldn't do it, could you? So, that's the Spirit. And yeah, with the Spirit, Seer, Prophet, Revelator, Translator, I'm able to access the connection far better than anybody else, because of all of the things that I'm able to tie together and know where to look for the reference. We must all learn to use technology as a servant, not a master. No, that's what the technology wants us to do. YouTube wants you to be a servant and watch what they tell you to watch. That's what gets people in trouble. God. The future, you're supposed to be a master on it. You're supposed to be taught how to use it, be warned of the dangers of liars and wolves in sheep's clothing, so that you do not get deceived and end up killing yourself and then having your parents sue. God. The future, here it is. The future of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and our very civilization depend on members and individuals who have deep faith, moral courage, and the ability to navigate an increasingly complex world. It's not complex at all. A church history video, primary source documents. That alone is your best defense against everything that's on the internet, social media, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So when you come across something, you know that Quentin L. Cook is not a primary source of scripture interpretation. And so when he talks about truth, then you need to say, well, okay, how is truth obtained? Then you know the primary source document is the Book of Mormon plagiarized version of the old and busted gospel, as an example. And so, yes, Stephen Joseph Smith's first vision, but pay attention to the words. Do not use their interpretation of it, because then you just biased your whole research and you're just going to go right back to believing, except the truth is grounded in eternal principles. You did not learn about primary source documents. So the Lord will continue to provide prophets who will guide and focus us on the most important principles. Like what? A bishop's storehouse at every single ward? The gathering to Zion so that they don't die in the war? Those? No, they have never, especially lately, warned you. Oakes's leak was not to the members. Nobody was supposed to know about that. I am the only one who knew and warned my government in a government document. And they rejected it. And then it happened. I do the videos to warn, because I know the danger. They're not doing it. I don't see any warning here. Armageddon has begun. And here he says, the Lord will continue to provide prophets who will guide and focus us on the most important principles. Civilization is about to be destroyed. And he's not rescuing anybody. He's not telling you about the threat and about how Oakes is finally going to bring Mormons to Utah. Because this is Zion. They're leading you astray to leave you hanging out to be murdered. So yes, the video that was a slight breakout video that is slowing down. have a second page to bring up. It is in the far right. Come on. LDS Church orders Mormons to stay in Middle East and wait for second coming. They didn't say wait for second coming, but all Mormons know we're waiting for second coming. We all know that Jerusalem is going to be ground zero for Jesus. I'm still waiting for the dumbass to say, we don't know. He didn't say that. But this is what they're doing. They're having people stay in the war zone. Church advises its thousands of members in the Middle East to stay put as the safest option. How stupid is that? And for Mormons to believe that? Yeah, not even the Dubai women believe that. They got the hell out of there, and they're now back in Utah. Those two girls that I show the picture of, I don't think they're back because they're students at the Jerusalem Center. They're all forced to stay there. There were flights taken out of Jerusalem, and none of them were there because the church ordered them to stay, just like they did in Ukraine. And now there are thousands of Mormons in Ukraine and Russia who are dead. Thousands. Because the reporting for 2024's membership in Russia was 18,000. Prior to was 23. 5,000 are gone. And so Ukraine, I'd have to go find the original membership from back in the day to see how many Ukraine lost. But if Russia lost 5,000 and the church ordered the Mormons in Ukraine to also stay, that's murder. This is a loyalty test. Will you die when we tell you to die? This is evil. And you get upset with me? This is what Cook is telling you. We have prophets telling you what to do. Die! And I can't help you if you're not going to listen to me. The Lord's prophets will help this generation move forward and confidently accomplish his purposes. Yeah. The mass extermination of mankind. Well underway. He is not telling you the specifics. He is speaking generally, and if you knew the specifics, you would realize the evil that he is. That's why they're trying to murder me and not the popular ex-foes. God. You will be blessed. Yeah, because the death threats of Oaks. Don't memorize. But look forward to the resurrection. Something like that. You can't be resurrected unless you're dead. Dear God, Mormons. Jesus Christ committed suicide so that you can follow his example. Let us never forget that it was not easy for the Savior in the volatile world during his mortal sojourn, especially in his final hours, as he accomplished the atonement. I am grateful for our Savior's ultimate sacrifice, suicide, in our behalf. Now do you see? I am also grateful for the living prophets who can provide us with the guidance we need in our day. What guidance? Again, I remind you of my revision of church hymns and primary hymns. Follow the prophet, follow the prophet, follow the prophet straight down to hell. Taking away my candy money, even though it was cigarette candy. Chalk. But the Asteroids arcade game was all lined up. Couldn't get to play it. So, there at the corner of 7-Eleven. President Dallin H. Oaks will provide that spiritually powerful legacy. Oh my God. That's what he wants to be remembered for. The mass extermination of mankind. There's our title of the video. There's our title of the video. Legacy. Utter destruction of mankind. So yes, second vision, precisely as it stands in our New Testament, and yet he quotes from the Book of Mormon version instead, and you have to translate correctly the New Testament version, as Joseph Smith does for you in his second vision. Before, utterly; after, destroyed. He's being clever. He knows what he's doing. Dear God. So, yeah, Rise Zion has no clue. No clue. All right. Finish it up with the remaining news. The news can't get troops versus troopers correct. A troop contains 100 to 250 troopers. So when the news says 150 troopers or troops have been wounded, I'm going, oh crap, that's 150 troops that contain 100 to 250 troopers. No. And so the 150 wounded troops are not troops, they're 150 troopers who have been wounded. It's these kinds of little things that cause big problems. And they should have been told this by the military officers. We've got troopers who are wounded. All troops. No, troopers. So Utah is not suffering from TSA agents quitting as the rest of the nation is. And so Utah is being used as a test site for electric planes. That ought to go over well. AI electric planes flying right into the church tower. Oh boy. Oh boy. I really hope not. But getting a plane full of Mormon missionaries in one of these electric test planes of AI, and then AI decides, oh, let's take them to Temple Square. Because prior to AI, terrorists had to physically take over the plane to use them as a weapon, as we all know very well. But AI no longer needs humans to commit terrorist acts. That is not going to go well. Yes, we've all seen the AI testing. It never went well, and they didn't recall it. They just kept pushing it into more and more people until all the world has it. The rise of the machines, Skynet. So we're also being warned about sleeper cells. Somebody other than Fox this time. They had a whole thing on what are sleeper cells. Peacekeeper. Watch the Peacekeeper. It's got the guy who fled America and is now in France, I think, is where he fled to with his wife. He used to be the hottest hunk in Hollywood. I can't recall his name at the moment. I've got a lot of his movies, including The Peacekeeper. That's why this came to mind. It's about a nuclear bomb in New York from a sleeper cell Islamic terrorist group. Sleeper cells are those who infiltrate like the Illuminati, rise up in number, rise up in rank, take over leadership, coup with destruction and a scattering. And in this particular case, the sleeper cells for the destruction of the organization is actual neighborhoods where the terrorist act is supposed to take place. And so the larger the population, the more damage they can cause. The church has all funded the money, the Judas price, to have this happen. And so with funding for ICE and TSA, people are quitting. Security in America is weakening. And I've told you, and we're telling you again, because now the news is starting to warn. And once the news starts to warn, it's imminent. Trump needs this 9/11 event to justify his next phase, to fully implement his inauguration speech that he failed in 2025. And so yes, Islamists have been sneaking over into America under the guise that their religious patriarchal abusers are mean. We need safety and refuge, asylum. Ooh, America, you're taking us in with the Act of 1960? Thank you. We're thanking our American liberators. Just like the Nazis brought over by Operation Paperclip by the CIA. So yeah, we already have sleeper cells. Numerous versions of sleeper cells, not just Islamists. Nazis, Chinese, and others, even Russians. The Russians sort of backed off once Putin started the Ukraine war. They must have been recalled back to Russia, because they are gone from my channel now. I keep reminding them all they had to do was ask me about the Zay. It's the Constantine Cairo, guys. Come on, easy. So no, they're not following me as they were in the beginning. Yeah. So, yeah. So yes, we're also having a transportation crisis, not just TSA. The gas prices skyrocketing. It's already starting to become unaffordable for people to use their cars. And in certain jobs, it's necessary to have a car for the higher pay that you're getting from that job. Working in Blockbuster Video, you can't be a shift manager to be in charge of taking the previous day's funds to the bank if you don't have a car. And so you have to stay behind and be a cashier. And they only want honey bunnies at the front of the cashier because it gets a lot of customers. And then the Nazi feminazis get upset. The Karens, you're discriminating, giving women an equal opportunity in the job market. Putting the best people in the best places. Lock them up. And so yes, the gas is going to rise the cost of living, prices are going to go up, transportation is going to go up, people won't be able to pay for gas, we're going to have a gas shortage, we're supposedly unleashing our supply, our reserve. And so yes, Trump is using this oil war to cut off oil, to tank the world. This is the newest tactic. Putin says he's got oil. Come and get oil and gas from me. Even though you said you wouldn't. You canceled all trade with me on this. Yeah, Rachel Maddow did a book on the calamities of nations that depend on gas and oil, which has been obsolete for 100 years. Steven Seagal had a movie on that. Yep. Because Russia, I contacted them through my videos. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you can provide for me in America Steven Seagal's latest movie, now that he's in Russia. And they did, sort of. And then I had to do a reply video. Come on, guys. It was $200, and it was several months out before I would get it. Come on, guys. So, yep, we're now going to start to see sleeper cells around the world go off. We're sort of seeing it. The Mamdani attack, they're inspired by ICE, the Islamic State, not ISIS. It's not ISIS, it's IS, Islamic State. And so, yeah, it's when you get your transportation cut off, you get your job cut off, and therefore you get your home cut off. and it's not going to be pleasant. So I don't know how buff you are to go take the bus to go get your food. You got to be pretty buff unless you can afford multiple trips. And in Utah, in case you don't know and you're about to find out, $5 for the full day. Otherwise it's $2.50 unless you're a senior, and then it's $125. Just saying, you got to have exact change. They won't give you change. And so if you have a $5 bill but you only want to pay for one trip, sorry, they'll give you a full day pass, but they don't got change. So I'm just letting you know. Or you can act like a homeless person and sneak on. Oh, I left it here, so I just need to go a block or two. Come on, we all know what you're doing. Stop it. It should be instantly given to the homeless and the poor. But anyway, yeah, it's going to get worse, guys. And so the attack on Cyprus is what got Europe into the war. So now even more, France, Macron has come out and said the attack on Cyprus is an attack on all of Europe. So he just announced that Europe is now added into the war. And Mr. Rise Zion is thinking of the literal history of Christianity and the church, that Jesus is coming to Jerusalem. And so he's thinking in terms of all nations shall be against Israel. I already did the videos when they all ganged up on Israel. The whole world. Gaza, remember? The whole world is still pissed with Israel for defending themselves. And so that was his the day ago video. 32 nations surround Israel as shadow World War III ignites. Pillars of smoke rise again. No, they tried that. It failed. They're doing Iran now. Come on, keep up. And so yeah, Trump. It's not a gaffe. He meant what he says. He intended to cause the gas crisis. He intended that the gas prices were higher than they currently are. So yes, he's going to keep on going to keep rising the gas prices to make it more unaffordable to use your vehicle and raise the cost of living. He said it. You need to pay attention and believe him. And so, false hope news. Even Fox does false hope news because they're falling for it. The war is not ending anytime soon. No. No, no, no. Did we not learn from Afghanistan? No, 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 no. Especially if they're talking about sleeper cells. It is not over anytime soon. They are putting out the call for the sleeper cells to activate. You need to pay very close attention to that. Dear God, I'm a blade. And so, no, this war is not ending. Don't fall prey to the hope that, oh yeah, it's going to end soon. Because dumbass people are going to invest in the stock market when it's low after the church took it out. And then you put it back in, and the church goes, thank you, and they take it out. As they did today. And so the ski industry is hurt. I told you in advance. Prepare for me to part the waters again. You're not listening. You're not remembering. So yes, it's going to be an intense, record-breaking summer drought. It's going to be ugly. We need Zion as soon as possible. I'm paying attention to Friday the 13th. Because if you didn't pay attention at the beginning of the video, when I referred to the Jewish calendar and Jewish events in the calendar, are you checking them? When I talk about Purim with Deuteronomy 19:19, are you making the connections that I am? No, but God. And so the girls' school. I wasn't going to talk about this because we already went through this with Gaza. And after these 2 hours, I need to go to the bathroom and go to bed. So again, why are the girls in a war zone? They gave you advance notification that they're coming in, so get out. There were days of this war. Why didn't you leave then? Why are there girls still at a school? And again, just like with Gaza, they're being used as shields to blame Israel and the United States of America, which in this case, we bombed them. Trump says no. They're building tomahawks. But, again, the same pattern of practice, and the news keeps falling for it, as well as the world. And so Israel didn't do it, we did. So the world is pissed with us, not Israel. They're going to gather against us. And so Trump's sons are now war profiteering. They're investing in drones, in the drone production, because that's the war now. Ukraine is doing it, and the other wars are doing it. Drones. And so, yep, the sons are now wanting to war profiteer, to have daddy get more drones from their business, and thus, yeah. So we're done. Trying to save your lives, guys. So if you've endured to the end of this video, hi, good night. Remember, you'll be resurrected when you're dead.